Hi, Bothered Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today.
Есть пару вопросов.
Зачем россияне?
Зачем россияне пришли на Украину убивать украинский народ?
А зачем НАТО, это самое, Украину напичкало орудием,
Чем?
Каким оружием?
ГТМом,
Чем?
инструкторами, чтобы напасть на Россию? Извини меня, тут дело было так. Или Украина нападет на Россию, или Россия на Украину. И не на Украину, а
Мам.
на НАТО.
Мам,
Можно
Это
еще вопрос?
значит,
Можно
Третья
я,
мировая война.
можно я задам вопрос? Здравствуйте, меня зовут Владимир, я журналист. Скажите, пожалуйста, вот в других странах, в том числе в Прибалтике, например, да, там тоже все то же самое есть, да? Почему вы думаете, что именно Украина, и в Польше это же самое все есть, почему вы думаете, что именно Украина должна была напасть на Россию? С чего вдруг?
А потому что там все планы ваши разработали. Мало того, что Украина создала еще коронавирус, и самое, сказали, что это Китай, а у вас там этих биолабораторий сколько?
мам, что ты чушь несешь?
Не надо. Так они были и при Союзе еще эти биолаборатории у нас, и существуют лаборатории, и уже доказано и подтверждено, и множество фактов, что...
Мало того, что я вам скажу то, что я знаю, еще раньше знала, что Украина сама себе не принадлежала давно уже, даже вся земля украинская уже у Америки, что там
Мам,
все посажено у американцев. Мы нападали не на Украину.
В смысле вся
Украина-
земля? В смысле вся земля у американцев? Что вы имеете в виду?
Конечно, у американцев. Сынок Байдена там командовал, как у себя дома. Так или не так?
Сынок Байдена был в совете директоров одной из компаний в Украине. У нас демократическое государство, у нас есть компании различные, и вот сынок Байдена был в одной из этих
Демократическое
компаний.
государство, да вы придаток НАТО. Еще бы дня два-три, и вы
Мам.
бы уже вступили в НАТО. Это уже все доказывает.
Так я еще раз задаю вам вопрос. Вот Польша, например, в НАТО.
So, yeah, that is a Russian mother who, quite frankly, has conspiracy theories that would put QAnon to shame. But interestingly enough, it also feels really weirdly familiar, am I right? There she is, ranting about all the same kind of stuff that I see the most unhinged people like post on Twitter or in the replies of Reddit or like on Facebook or wherever else. And that's really concerning, right? So this shows a couple things. First off, Russian propaganda is a hell of a drug. So there's this mother, right, where when her son is captured by Ukrainians, she instead decides, rather than thinking, hey, son, are you okay? Oh my God, is everything fine? She's going on about like conspiracies and like Hunter Biden's running the whole thing. All of Ukraine is owned by Americans. Ukrainians aren't even a real people. It's like, lady, do you hear yourself right now? You skipped over the fact that your own son is now a prisoner of war held by some very understandably pissed off people, right? And yet, there she is, just casually going off on this like entire ass tangent that reeks of QAnon conspiracies. So there's a couple things, literally a couple things that we can take away from this. One, there's no doubt more people like this in Russia who believe in all this kind of stuff. Even though it's blatantly untrue, they believe that they're fighting a righteous war against Ukraine and that Biden's son is somehow in charge of everything and that Ukrainians aren't even a real people and their beloved leader Putin is fighting to overthrow the deep state that has been keeping Russia down for so long. So that's terrifying thing number one. Terrifying thing number two is that, again, because of how familiar all of this sounds, this kind of lends credence to the idea that it's been Russians behind a lot of the like crazy conspiracy stuff for the far right for a while. Now, that's just what it seems like. Do not take that as me providing evidence of it or anything like that. The second part about why that's also terrifying, though, is the fact that it does feel very familiar to us, seeing and hearing the most like deranged and ridiculous and unhinged ramblings that we have seen and heard over the many years since Trump was president, right? And here it is. Now we're seeing it, but on the other side. So what does that mean when you have segments of a population that have been brainwashed by a form of propaganda and like a kind of mental conditioning that makes them believe the most blatantly untrue and unhinged things? And those people can vote. They can start doing things to try and impact what they feel are unfair results based on the information that they are getting and also believing in. What does this mean for not only Russians, but Americans, Canadians, Brits, Australians, wherever you go, where this has been the kind of conspiratorial focus and talking points? What does that mean for the future of democracy in terms of having an informed democracy? What does that mean for actual discourse, or what will pass as discourse? What does that mean for having to disprove all kinds of conspiracies? Can it even be done if these people are so conditioned, and again, whether they're Russian, American, Canadian, Aussie, etc., if they are so conditioned to believe this, that anything else that challenges that worldview is thus a lie, or you're a bot, or you're part of the deep state conspiracy, whatever convenient mental out there is, can this even be fought, at least in terms of discourse? It's really hard to tell, and quite frankly, I don't know the answer, and the likely answer is probably no. I'd love to be wrong about that, but what this means for the future of an informed democracy and like having to have what amounts to a discourse with people, whether it's political or not, is very concerning. And it shows it's not just a uniquely American problem. This is all over the place. And it's really distressing, and it's definitely what's bothering me today.